We spent an hour, and I hope you will storyteller and story writer afterwards. We will talk about some legends, myths, and like that for the different territories. And after that will be short practice, and you will find and understand what story exists and what it consists. I'm Andrei. I'm from Russia, from Moscow, and I'm in media about 30 years. Too much. First 10 years I've spent on TV. I was a TV producer. Do you know the project for Whale? I was the producer of the first Russian team of the program. Next 10 years I've spent in printing and publishing industry and built the largest print house in Russia for the glossy magazines. Next 10 years and current 10 years I'm in IT and marketing of territories. And we created mobile guides for all Russian region. How many regions in Russia?
85.
Okay. 85. And all countries of seas. How many countries of seas?
5.
12. 12. So that's around 100. It's guides. It's ordinary mobile guides with the information what is and what the sightseeing, calendar, roads, and like that. But 2 years ago, we decided that the stories, urban stories, legends, walk for territory much better than Directory. Like ordinary information about the territory. And we start project Земля, itsmy.land. And some territory got that project, seven region. 2 books is here, but it's multimedia. It's different type of information. We will talk about later. But before, I would like to show what's very famous writer talking about the short stories. Neil Gaiman. Everybody can read it, or
yeah, we can read it.
And Stephen King. You know Stephen King? Good. These authors talk about short story like a way to make acceptable life. And for my own motivation, why I write short stories, because people say that short stories take you 40 minutes for reading, but it's make your life longer for 40 minutes. It means if you will write short stories forever, you will live forever. That's my motive. Elephant, very important character. Probably later you will forget about our meeting, and you will forget about me, of course, but you will never forget elephant because he can't jump. He's a very good runner, very strong animal, but he can't jump. And that information will be with you forever. The story with science fiction. You can go another university for the 30 minutes and return without any problem by the dinner or after the breakfast without any problem. One of the person who started travel stories was Marco Polo. It's a trader from Belize, and he, after his traveling to Asia and Africa, they go to prison, and during this prison, when he was in prison, he dictated travel guide about his journey. So, the project, itsmy.land, it's a series of the short stories where every object, every place is real, but the story and characters is not. Do you know about moss bears?
Okay. For example, in the honey of the salt bees, the number of these 9 units in Bashkir honey about 20 and Altai 80, and non-bees contain from 30 to 50 units of the enzyme diastase. The wintering of non-bees takes place in hives under the snow. They do not need additional shelter and a lot of food.
So, these bees live north. North with very short summer. And during this short period, all the flowers and other plants that bring nectar do it very short time. And very long winter, and bees should find as much honey as they can because they need to eat during the long period. So the honey of these bees is really ready medical. It's not only delicious food. So, and we made a project for Myanmar. It's Arctic region. And one of the story was about the moss bee. So, for what? Why territories need to use short stories? What's the goals? First of all, increase value of living on the territory for the locals. Second one is attractiveness for the permanent residents and capital investors. And third one, last but not least, increase in interest visiting for the tourists. The story about this region in Russia, and there is 720 caves, and there is a legend of about this cave and the tribe which live there.
When people lived in caves, one tribe kills old people because they couldn't not go to hunting. And one young man came to the head of tribe and asked not to kill his old father. He promised to hunt twice as much. Head of the tribe agreed on this condition that young man also gets gold from the bottom of the lake. People see gold at the bottom of the lake near caves. Many people try to get gold, but they are become food for fishes. or they came out of the wet water with nothing. Or our young man decided to get gold and asked his old father for advice. Old father recommended to young man to climb the mountain. Young man did that and found a huge nugget of gold.
Thank you. So, the structure of the urban story, the legend, is quite simple. We start with introduction, then in-cutting incident, then rising action, then final battle, and the resolution. In the introduction, we explain where this story is going on, and the situation and the mood. In Russia is sounds like жили-были. So the process is once upon a time. Next accident, something happened, and ordinary life changed. So rising action, we find antagonist. It's some person, or not exactly person, something that goes the same way the protagonist, so our hero, character, but with different goal. Protagonist, hero, has a dilemma, moral or something like that, and he makes a decision. It's made him in turning point, and after that, hero understands that antagonist is opponent, and he looking for possibilities to meet him and make final battle. Somebody should win, and in the resolution, situation changed, but hero can't be the same. He got some treasure, some knowledge, something that doesn't give him the possibility to live in the old world. Or he should change old world, or he could be and stay in the new one. Understand? Who is it? As a hero, he made two. He had two very important properties, and he acts every time. It's role of hero to act. So, properties: secret, flow, treasure, purpose, antagonist, and helper. Please tell me what's the secret of
Something that other people are not supposed to know.
any other ideas? Secret of Harry Potter. Magic. It's probably treasure. Okay, secret. Huh? Wait, okay. Flow. What's the flow? Correct.
You didn't?
Secret is correct. So what's flow? Wait.
It has no flaws.
He's got a soft spot for his spirit. So that could be his flaw.
Probably. Okay.
No
Purpose.
flaws.
What he wants.
To free the world from Voldemort.
It's probably antagonist. And helper. Who is helper?
Hermione.
Correct. Let's see. Flow is glasses. Sometimes something happens with his glasses, and he tries to
He
find.
can't see without his glasses. Yes.
Understandable.
It's what he
Good. This is structure. This is structure.
What's his pleasure?
So now start practice. We have a structure: introduction, cutting, rising, action, turning points, final battles, resolution, and now you will see the story. It's a cartoon, very, very good, incredible. Probably you will, during this film, during this cartoon, you will mark 5 points of the story, okay? And let's compare what we will see. So the story about elephant in the change. Correct. So, introduction. Very quiet, very thin, very delicate. And in cutting incidents. So they met. And who protagonist, who antagonist? Who protagonist? Protagonist is hero. Antagonist is who against hero. Who protagonist? Man? Man.
Because he comes
the main role of hero, role of antagonist is not every time is positive, but the hero has one role. What's that role?
Save the day.
To keep the environment calm and to maintain peace.
Correct. But short definition.
To protect what's
Hero.
I think because he taught the man not to touch with the positives, and that is
I think hero can show attitude.
Right action. Yes. So
No, for me,
why
I think
why
it's the
gentleman is
elephant.
hero?
I think for me it's the elephant. The elephant is the
Elephants is
yeah, because it managed to grab the falling. The man almost dropped it. The elephant catched it, so
your
it saved the day.
elephant is
elephant was a challenge to protagonist.
okay. Who is protagonist? Let's vote. Gentleman, who for gentleman? Please. Elephant. Who for elephant is protagonist? 50-50. So, let's back. Let's go back. Protagonist has properties and he act. Who act?
Elephant.
Elephant act.
The man acts because we see action only from his point of view, and the man always acts.
Okay, let's go. So, this is dilemma. Who is rising action. We decide that they met, and the first turning point is when he helps. So, and probably it's not aggressive, it's very calm, the probably situation will be okay. And after that, he tried to move him to exit. Remember? Correct.
To make him get out.
And the second turn point is, you said, with mouth. This is aggression. And probably in this turning point, probably the final story. If something happened that can be changed. So, final battle, what's it in the story? Turning out. As I read,
Overreacting, like the elephant was breathing very heavily at his nose.
correct. Any other?
The shells were about to fall.
Yeah. Gentlemen, help. Elephant. This is final battle, the context, and it was a situation when one changed another. So, resolution. Idea about the resolution.
Elephant is out.
Elephant is out. Was it this gentleman?
Don't panic. everything is like
they are helpful for each other. So they change antagonist became a helper. He can't be the same anymore. And the heroes changed. New shop will have a challenge. So, the main rule of the short stories, it's a lot, but main just four. Action in any moment. Not too much time spent for describing, for example, weather or nature. Of course, it's necessary if you need to show mood, to show the situation where act is rising. But first of all, action. Action, action, action. It's one idea that should be in your reading. Second one, reader should feel what's the next. Any moment. Any moment, the same idea. What's the next? The hero is who make action, and there is a certain arch of hero. It's turning point. After that, hero not be the same. Another story. We go to Russia. One of the most popular in the Soviet time, it was probably one of the most popular roads called Golden Ring. And there is a place, Vladimir region, and there is a city, Suzdal, and there is a church with very strange art.
St. George's Cathedral is a cathedral located in the city of Vladimir region near Suzdal. The cathedral has a unique date, 1234. Creation and outstanding ornaments depicting saints, princes, mythical creatures, and even an elephant. The elephant for Russia is a preceded beast, where it came from on the wall and erected in 1234. It's a real mystery. Afanasy Nikitin will arrange his trip across the 3 seas to India only in more than 200 years. And the first miracle was a trunk officially appeared in Russia only about Ivan the Terrible. The beast came under his own power from Persia with a driver in the late 60s on the 16th century. And he was so exhausted that when he appeared before the sovereign, he collapsed on his front legs. From the outside, it looks like if a living mountain knelt in front of Ivan Vasilievich, a good sign, the king decided, and appointed assassin maintenance to the holy elephant. Yes, and the driver at the same time. But all this was much later. And where does the elephant come from in ancient Russian, said George Church? Judging by the fact that the elephant has hair, ears, and tiger claws, the artist clearly didn't make the best relief from nature. Obviously, a sculpture according to the description in the book by White remains a mystery. So, the church, they have elephants in the ornament, and this is animal was seen in Russia 200 years later. The church was built in very simple dates. 1, 2, 3, 4.
maybe it's around.
Probably. Particularly because his hands like a bird and ears like a camel. So it means the artist who makes this creative never seen. It's probably a description from the book or somebody tell you. Place without story is empty place. In Russia it sounds место без образа или безобразное место. So we can promote the place, not only place. We can promote with stories different things. Of course, place, artifacts, cuisine, events, roads, souvenirs. Just for
The production of ceramic founded by Vinogradov was restored in Suzdal. Now this place is occupied by the Team of Ceramics workshop. Potters, mostly guys and girls, work on painting and glaze. They make dishes that bring happiness to the house because they are made by the hands of lovers. Weddings are held in the workshop at least once a month.
So, the story about that ceramist now has a real object, beam of ceramic, and they produce things like that. It's называется щанки. It's something from the for the kitchen, and different type of eats put here and go, for example, for the working place for the man. So, what's the common between щанки from Dim of Ceramic and blue stone? It's Переславль-Залесский, Plещеево Lake. What do you think common between two things? Of course, in legend, in myth, in story. Any ideas?
Any clues?
Ladies sitting here.
What's the relationship?
Any ideas? Ladies sitting on the blue stone, or somebody buy this shanky and bring it home, they have child. So, they want to be pregnant.
So it's like when you want a child, you have to go get your luck from both the kids. Is that what you say? So they're like a potion of good luck.
I'm absolutely sure every country has a place where a young lady who wants to be pregnant go to do something. Probably everywhere. So we have a series here, It's My Land. We have two examples of that, and there's multimedia project. We start with literary contents and workshop for the local people involving in the writing these stories. We have now positive influence for that because people taking this idea to themselves. After that contents, we publish ebook, audiobook, paperbook. After that, we make a film competition, and this legend starts being video, illustration content with photo and drawing, music competition for the legend, also mobile quest and computer games and video computer games. We start the project for the Ukraine. There is the Archaeopark. It's a place where bronze mammoth and there is a pyramid. So, we start. So we start development of the computer game RPM, role-playing game for Ukraine. It's a very short video. It's of course not the trailer, just several esquisses. So our here will be in this exteriors, and we will use these symbols of Ukraine for the computer. It's quite good idea because how many people play game? What do you say around?
Especially RPG.
How many people?
1 billion.
1 million.
Around.
How many people live in Earth? In our planet, how many people? 7 billion. How many people play computer games? 4 billion. 2.5 billion. 2.5 billion. The standard, there is different stores where you can get the game, have the online, of course, access, and it's around hundreds or more million users every month. So it's huge market to promote your territories through these games. So, and the slogan of itsmy.land is "It happens only here." It means our places, our locations is helper, main helper of hero. We created several projects with very different goals. For example, Suzdal, they need to change the segment of tourists, not palomniki, people who go somewhere for their religion. Pilgrims. So they changed from pilgrims to Sevarit, people who spend more money. Krasnoyarsk, they provide idea, their city where never sleep. Ukraine needs to involve people in the promotion of the territory. Myanmar, they create something, create from through the legends, create something. In the 2 months after the start project, they create 60 something, they make a road between these places, because in Myanmar, ordinary building have name, and this is like folklore. You can arrive in Myanmar, go out from airport, sit in taxi, is said Titanium, and you will bring on the address Lenin Street 23, because everybody knows that Titanic is that building, and the building hundreds in Myanmar. So we make a project that explain why this name used for that building. And now there is a road in Myanmar between 30 buildings with name. One of them is about North East, you know, about North East and everything. And probably for advanced also. What can happen? So, this is technological process, and we use big data for that. We measure media, social media, research services, and some open accounts in chats, and find information about the territories for two goals. First of all, content. We see what of the object of places is most popular. So it's probably our future place of action in the future stories. And second one, in promotion. With big data, we see what the places use this information more often and where is audience. It's for us very helpful for the promotion of the ready product. Also, we attract audience through our partners. There is media, Russia Beyond, for example, it's part of Russia Today with unpolitical news. BRICS and St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, we present this project for the international audience. When we're talking about the film production, Panasonic Home, Easy Travel is international audio guide, broadcast our audience files for his audience. Also text. We can, you can find our project in Amazon, in the press, in the raw, Amazon, Bookmate. For example, most of them, of course, in Russian, but the story, one of the story from the Suzdary called Kapinka, translated in English, it's our first project for the So, correct. In the beginning, the gentleman, very thin, very delicate, and his walk expected to contact with very fragile things. So, he should be very quiet. So, the next point is something happened. What happened? So, and rising. What we
The rising is base that he has, the one that he threw up that almost fell. That's the rising.
any ideas about rising?
And the elephant being stuck between the two things.
Correct.
Then it's always exciting as well.
Correct. Yes. And in this rising, there is a quite long period.
Yes.
Have 2 points, 2 more turning points. What's that?
One is he saw a mouse and a cat.
Another thing is when the cupboard was about to fall.
It's
And
pretty close to 5.
Yeah.
I think when the elephant saw the mouse figures. So,
yes, yes. It's probably turn number 2. Let's go with together. So,